start. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Producers Mindset. I'm here with the one and only Suzy Melkonian. Suzy,
Thank you, Manny. Good
good,
morning.
good morning. Good morning. How are you doing?
I did this is it's such an amazing experience for us just to share our life and to share our story. And I just before I start, I just want to do say one thing, and that's something that is really emotional for me, and that is to dedicate this interview today to my wonderful father, who
Yes.
is resting in peace, and his passion was real estate, and to my husband, who's my mentor and my supporter and my big critic.
I
At
love
the
it.
same time. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing this with us. I didn't have the privilege to meet your father, I believe, but I know your husband. I love him. I love when he's joining us on work trips whenever he can.
Yeah.
You guys are like family. So you see, whoever's watching us right now and later, this is Suzy, right? This is Suzy right there, authentic, real. And there's more good stuff. So tell us first. I mean, for those who don't really know you, a bit about your background, your story, and then how did you end up doing real estate?
Manny, it's interesting you asked that because my passion for sales started at the age of 16. At my first job, getting paid $5 an hour at a store in the Fallbrook Mall called Chicken Shirt. And what I did was I was only 16, and this guy trusted me to manage the entire store, to just have the clients come in, print out shirts based on all the prints that were on the walls, on their sizes and colors, and I got lots of experience through that. And then it's interesting because my father always had this broker. I remember his name is AJ. This broker came in our house the entire time during my childhood, my teenage years, and I used to listen this broker coming in saying, "Bill, I have this property for you. You want to go see it?" My father's like, "Let's go." So my father had invested a lot in his throughout his life in the States, in buildings, properties in Pasadena, properties in Van Nuys. I remember always buying, and so that was when I grew up. I heard a lot of real estate in my house. And then throughout my university, I studied communications and journalism. And then I went to Paris for an Olympics match, an Armenian Olympics match, and I met my husband there in
Wow,
Paris. So that was a 3 year long distance relationship. So I was here and he was in the Middle East, back and forth 3 years. At the time, there was no Skype, there was no FaceTime. So we did all
that's
that
right.
through calls and to faxes. So I
Wow,
got a good job in Warner Brothers Studios. In Warner Brothers Studios here in Burbank, I started out in the photo department, and then I moved up the ladder, and it's very hard to move up the ladder with a lot of those, different kinds of executives. So I moved up the ladder. I kind of befriended myself to move from the photo department to the publicity department. And then I eventually got into retail. The Warner Brothers Studio stores is what it's called. And at the time, just like the Disney stores, there were Warner Brothers Studio stores all over the malls, all over the states. So I was the director at the time for the Warner Brothers Studio stores, openings, advertising, publicity. So that was an amazing job. I was working on the lot here in Burbank. All the actors like Dustin Hoffman and Rene Russo and Mel Gibson had an office here. Clint Eastwood, all these actors were like all around us. So that was an exciting job. It gave me lots of experience in publicity. And so from there, when I met my husband, at a 3 years relationship, I just had to decide, do I have to leave the country or do I stay in my job? I mean, my job was amazing as an executive in Warner Brothers. So I fell in love, and so after 3 years, I decided to to leave here. My father was quite sad because I was helping him out with all his rentals, and all his property management. And it's so funny because now I look at those papers now, and those rents were like $800 and $750 and $900, and he needed me to take care of the property management part, but that's fine. He was happy for my love story and my adventure. So I left the country in 1998. I got married. I had my two beautiful children, in Lebanon, but then I'm American, so they became American as well. So we lived there, and I just traveled all over the world because it's being close to Europe and everywhere. My husband is such an entrepreneur person where he loves to travel. And we had retail stores. And I can say, Many, that is the main gist of how I learned
Hmm.
sales, the
Hmm.
psychology of sales. Is because it's interesting because my husband had 10 retail stores there. They're called Forever 21 and Jazz. So I was a buyer for the stores. I used to travel to the States. I used to travel to Italy, to France to bring all kinds of merchandise. I came to the States especially because there was big sizes and there was such demand in big size numbers for women. It was not much at the time. So I used to be traveling. I was a buyer. I used to go back and then I just used to display and sell and all that kind of stuff. And so I managed three of the stores. And my kids were so young at the time, and I used to leave them with a nanny. And then my husband used to take over during the weekends. I loved so much sales. I loved it not for the money part. It's just because I was able to convince the client to buy more. You know, they used to just come in the store and just look. And then I eventually they used to leave with bags full of, merchandise at the end. It was like win-win
I can,
situation. I was able to
I can,
convince the client to buy.
I can see that. Yeah.
And so I managed those three stores full time, like, a lot. And one thing I can say as far as sales, now I learned the psychology of the decision maker. So when, let's say, a husband and a wife walks in the store, and the wife shows the husband the jeans, and he says, no, 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 it's not nice, and she puts it down. He's a decision maker, so I will concentrate on him. So I show him, I get his approval. It's the same thing in homes, you know what I mean? So that was one thing that I learned as far as psychology of selling, and also negotiations, because I think that in my experience, it's always you meet in the middle. They used to come to me and they used to say, "Are you the owner?" I'm like, "No, I'm the manager." Because if you're the owner, they want it for free, you know, all the retail clothing. So I said, "No, I'm the manager. How can I help you?" They used to say, "Can you give me a discount? Can you make it for like $50?" I used to say, "Okay, let's do it for 45." So I used to always meet in the middle. So, negotiations is one thing that I also learned in sales through the retail. Retail is hard. If you can do retail, you can do anything. And then my husband said to me, Suzy, you're spending so much effort, so much passion in selling one dress for hours. Why don't you do the same and go into real estate? You'll make more money. So that was my transition to real estate. So when I moved here in this country in 2019, for my son to go to architecture school and my daughter to go to UC San Diego to study visual arts. She, my husband said, "Why don't you go to real estate school?" So I went, and I just after that I passed the exam. In like 1 hour, I was done. I kind of knew the information so well. I understood it. When you understand something, it's just the answers, right? So, and then after that, I got into it's so funny because this is I started my career at 50. When I turned 50, my husband threw me a bash, a big party, 50th bash, and there were lots of friends there. And there's this one guy that you know as well, um, met me and he said, "Oh, Suzy, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm studying for my real estate exam." He says, "When you study your real estate exam, you pass it, come and talk to me." I said, "Okay." So I passed the exam and I called him. I said, "I passed the exam." He says, "Come, come, come. I want you to be my team." And I said, "Okay." I mean, I had not interviewed any brokerage before. I didn't know how it works. So he said, "Come, come." So I went to him and I spoke to him and he said, "I want you in my team." I'm like, "Okay." I don't even know. And that was Keller Williams Calabasas. And that's when I met the amazing Meny Atias.
Was that 2020?
Yeah, 2021.
Oh, 20, okay, 21. So
Oh
yeah,
no,
that's right.
2020, right? I'm in fourth year. I'm in my fourth year.
No,
21.
yeah, it was 21 because we were in the new space that I remodeled, and I remember we were there. And just to not to cut you off, but just to say something for a second about that. Um, I remember meeting Susie, and I knew from the very beginning I met her that she doesn't fit in. She doesn't fit into the framework of that specific team.
Really.
And it was amazing because she questioned you questioned it, Susie. So like, is this, and I knew right away, okay, I didn't know much about you, but I'm like, okay, this lady, she's going places. She's unstoppable. She's unstoppable. And I think within the first year you already start to produce.
It's interesting because my husband was my first client. He bought a house in Sherman Oaks and he flipped it. It was an amazing job. And this is the background of the house my background is this house that he flipped. He put a granite
Oh, okay.
stone on the fireplace and he did a great job. And he did such an amazing job. I said, you know what? Are you gonna flip this house? Are you gonna make money on this house, or are you just gonna live in it? Because it's like a house to live in because he did such good quality. So that's how he is. He's just a quality person. He says, I can't do anything else. I can't do junk. I got to do, real hardwood floors. So that was my first experience, and that was my first sale and my first listing, I must say. And you know what? It all comes down to the listing. If you have your first listing, your ball starts rolling because my first listing was 10 unit brand new construction condos in Glendale, in the heart of Glendale, the best part of Glendale. And I have to say, thanks to the Cholakian family, Mihran Cholakian, who gave me this opportunity to list his units for lease. Now, mind you, you're going to say lease is not a big deal, but trust me, lease has started my business. Lease has started my business. I mean, I had no experience in showing. I had no experience in doing any contracts. And it's so funny because before I got this listing, I had joined that team. And my husband said, are you sure you want to be in that team? Because I think that you're not getting enough. And, they're taking more than they're giving. And I said, really? Many, I can't believe that was the biggest decision for me to decide, should I leave? I'm leaving, but I don't know this business at all. I was super scared. But after 3 months, I left and he was shocked. He said, where are you leaving? I said, well, I just want to become a solo agent on my own, knowing nothing. So I didn't know contracts. I mean, I followed all those morning mindset calls. Keller Williams is really amazing because you guys have the best training program. Anything and in contracts and anything, I just learned it on my own by through those, courses. Asking around, asking those agents, friends of mine, like, what do you do this? And I'm such a picky person. I'm an anal person. I want to make sure before I make any mistakes. So I ask 10 times everybody before I make a mistake. And that's how I learned.
And I just want to say something about that. Susie, um, you know, even throughout your career, right? At some point you were with the with a different office, right? Because I mean, we made changes, etc. You and I still stayed in touch, and from time to time, you would pick up the call and ask. And
Yes.
Susie, as you can see, as you can tell, if you couldn't figure out by now, she's not a shy person, right? You are just gonna be out there, gonna ask the questions because you're authentic, you're simple, you're real, and you're very curious as well to always learn. You're also a very generous person. That's a different story. We'll talk about it in a second. But um, just to make a point that that's one of your strengths, that you
Thank you.
always asking questions. You always seek to understand. You never assume that you know the answer.
That's very nice of you, Manny. Thank you.
And then tell us about you just sold a beautiful property, right? Income property was the 4 units, right? The fourplex.
Yeah.
That wasn't an easy sale. I'm actually, I think it was like one of the highest sales in the area for that specific properties. It was very unique. Tell us about how you got this deal and some of the challenges.
I met this client in the elevator, and he just wrote me this morning a review, and that's how he started out saying, I met Susie at the elevator inside a property that I was leasing in a brand new construction here in Glendale. He was moving with his friend and the mattress and all that kind of stuff. I said, hi, how are you? I have a listing here, which is a lease if you guys want to stop by. So that's how we met.
Okay, okay, stop. You see, if anybody asks you, hey, what is an elevator pitch? She just gave you an example, and it's not even a 60 seconds. It was more like a 5 second pitch. How crazy that is.
Yes, yes. It's just so funny because so we met, and then I took him to and he wanted to do this lease. I took him to my building here in Glendale, and he took 2 units there. And then from there on, he says, Susie, if you have any other properties, I'll be interested to invest. So I showed him this property in Burbank. I sold him this property as well. The one that he was my buyer at the time. The one I just sold for 4 units. He was my buyer at the time. It was in such bad shape, and he was super happy because I fought until the last minute to get the tenants out with the listing agent, and he was impressed. And then he rebuilt the entire unit. Such a nice job he did. He did an Airbnb for 2 years. He made good money, and then I kept in touch with him the entire time. And he said, and I said, "Are you going to sell it?" He said, "Not yet. I'm still building the fourth unit, which is the ADU." So every like 2 months, I would text him. I mean, that's the thing is persistence, you guys. You got to be
Yes.
persistent. If you know the client, you know that eventually he's going to do something. I mean, don't be too pushy, but once in a while, send him that text saying, I'm here to assist you. I'm here to get to list the property for you. And so call me anytime. And then I kept on pushing. And then he texted me saying, Susie, I want to put it off market. I'm like, why off market? But you got to do what they want to do. So we did it off market for 1 month. And I said, you know what? You get greatest exposure if you do it in the market. So he was convinced. I had so many people looking at the property for 2 months. They all gave me low offers, verbal, like 1.4, 1.5. And this was listed at 1.975. And he says, Susie, if you do it over 2 million, I'll give you a bigger commission. So I'm like, let me try. So I tried. And then in 1 week, after 82 days, I got 3 offers at the same time. They're all giving me asking and over asking. So it just worked out. And
Yeah.
he doesn't even believe that I sold it for that price. He's super like impressed and also, surprised.
Yeah. Um, you said a few things that I want to expand on because that's really the part of the secret recipe, right? The secret sauce of success. You said, I have to, you have to stay consistent, persistent, but you don't want to be pushy, right? So how do you think, like, if people are looking at you and they would say, Susie is, right, like your clients,
Yeah.
what would they say about you?
Well, a lot of my friends, they know me as a real estate agent, and I am sort of like, you know, it's obvious that I'm a real estate agent. I am a little pushy because a lot of times I am a pushy meaning in a sense where I am their real estate advisor, but I kind of balance it out by being friendly. And a lot of times I don't bring up the subject, and they know. So it's just I'm always in a way reminding them in a very smooth way.
Got
You
it.
know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love it in a smooth way. And I never heard you. Well, let's just say this: you're a very positive person. You're a
I
very
hope that
positive
my kids would
person.
think that way too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, at least in our environment, right? You're a very positive person, and you never badmouth, you never bash, you never. Um,
Gossip. I'd never gossip. Yeah.
yeah. So that's really your attitude. You're always very mindful about the environment and like you choose what you want to focus on, right?
Yeah.
How did you become that kind of a person?
At age of 50, when you're more mature and you're a mother and a wife of gone through so much in life as far as sacrificing for your children and sacrificing for the family. And, it's just the life teaches you to become more concentrated and to become more geared towards your principles and your priorities. And in this stage of my life, I'm so blessed to have this career, even at 50. It's a very difficult career because physically you get so tired. And, I'm realizing that after 50, I got to be more active as far as, doing more sports in order to maintain this kind of like a nonstop pressure. And it's so funny you say that because yesterday I met this agent. He said, Susie, I'm so happy about your I'm glad to meet you. I know you. I'm so happy that you are so passionate and so you're energetic. Keep that energy, but be careful because there was a colleague of mine. in my office, she was just like you. She was like nonstop, go, 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 go. And one time I just heard she had a heart attack. So I'm like, what? So,
Yeah.
I'm very passionate of what I do because honestly speaking, what we do honestly is just something happy. We help these clients to get into a new beautiful house. We make their dreams come true. And I just hope they appreciate that because it's not a lot of them can't even dream of having that, and we're helping them with all kinds of lenders to make the services accessible so that can be true in their life. So it's
Yeah.
just on the ongoing, and it's so funny because I don't really care what a client wants. I will juggle everything. I read this book by Ryan Serhant. He's the big New York agent, Ryan Serhant is super famous. He's had shows. I read his book and it says, you got to juggle it all. And his first listing was also a lease. He says, you juggle the lease, you juggle this. I have converted so many of my clients from a lease to buyers.
Yes. Yes.
Trust me. I mean, I know lease is nothing, but you guys, the lease is, it's so funny because I helped this gentleman 2 years ago, this Chinese gentleman 2 years ago to find a house. He's a USC student. He says, I need a house in Burbank. So we went to so many because, he's a student. It's hard to qualify. So I help when they see you doing the not so big transaction, work so hard on that one transaction, they're going to realize that when they want to buy a house, you're going to do the double work and you're definitely going to help them out. So this Chinese gentleman called me a week ago. He says, Suzy, I'm I graduated USC master's in film. I have a film business right now, production business, and I'm going to and we need to buy three homes. Bad budget is up to $3 million
There you go.
on on my production company because and we're gonna do production shows. So and I want you to help us out. So
Mhm.
2 days ago we went and looked at six different homes with this investor of him. He's got an investor to buy the houses so they can do their production business in those homes
Yeah.
from a
Yeah.
lease.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really what it is, you know. But also, like, you're really good at staying in touch and checking in, and of course, you're always leaving a strong impression. Talk to us for a second, because I, if you guys following on Suzy on social media, if you guys following Suzy on social media, you're very active, right? And you're always kind of documenting. You're leaving a digital footprint, if you may, of what you do, which I think is really important in our business because it's, partially this perception of who we are and what we do always, so people will remember. But you're very I mean, you out there, you're practicing the business like it's your first day, if you may, or your first year, what have you. You're going to open houses, to broker tours. You view, you tour, you research. Tell us a little bit about your routine in general.
I don't let one moment go unnoticed. As far as the every single day, I am always in contact to make sure that I'm either showing somebody a property, I'm contacting somebody with their plans, and also on weekends, if I'm not doing anything, I do open houses. And those open houses, a lot of times I'm doing a lot of showings for buyers in the weekends, and I don't mind in the areas. I'll drive to Chatsworth. I mean, I'm in Glendale. I drive to Chatsworth. I just sold two properties in Coachella Valley last year for a client. So I went to Coachella, Palm Springs. It's just every weekend and every day, every moment, I'm planning to do something productive. It's just like go, 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 go. And that's what it is. It's just even if I'm not doing anything, I go to a restaurant and I'm just passing out cards, you know, and just conversation. So it's just networking all the time. And I go to a lot of events and to like a wine festival. I went a month ago and I just met a lot of people there and I just passed on my cards and said if they wanted to, help. And I took their numbers too. It's not only giving your card because you got to get their number. They'll probably toss your card. So it's always keeping active. It's always keeping mindful of what your aim is, and that is to either sell or buy. And it's so funny. Yesterday, Many, I was just in the morning discussing this with to our colleagues here. I had I did an open house last weekend for one of my listings here in Toluca Lake, and I just put all the signs around. And I come home and there's only five signs instead of my sixth sign. I'm thinking, what happened to the sixth sign? I don't know if I forgot it on the corner somewhere. After 2 days, I get a call from this gentleman, an older gentleman. He says, I just saw your sign. Are you selling a house here in Toluca Lake? I said, I have a listing there. He says, there's a sign here, and I'm wondering if there's a house because I'm interested in buying a property. And I said, okay. And I thought, oh my God, that's the one sign I left behind. I said, where is it? He said, on the Goodman, whatever, whatever the corner that is. And I said, okay, and do you mind if I come pick it up? He says, yeah, yeah, I'll take it in my house. I'll hold it on and come to my house and have coffee. So I go to their house to pick up my sign. I take him a box of chocolate and I say, thank you so much. He says, come on in. And he's got a spread of fruits and chocolates and everything for me with coffee. And his wife comes out
Wow.
and so he wants to buy a house in Porter Ranch. We're gonna go and buy a house, looking for homes. He already called me. He chose like four different options. We're gonna go and look for homes in Porter Ranch. He might sell his house there in Toluca Lake. And so there, from just forgetting that one sign on the corner worked out.
Yeah, this is like such a Suzy story, right? Such a, out
I
of
know.
out of many Suzy stories for
You just
sure.
you just out
No,
there.
but yes, yeah. So I was just about to say, just be out there, and look, guys. I mean, Susie's only you've been only doing this for just about or over 4 years.
That's it,
Just
four
about
years.
4 years, really. And you're a capper. You're a leader. You're a hustler, a hard worker.
Thank you.
Such a big heart, big giver. And I want people to understand that it doesn't necessarily need to take like years to get into a successful routine. It's just like, again, remembering you from the first day, you just decided this is who I am and this is what I'm going to do moving forward.
Thanks to your support, Manny, because this has honestly been, I know from day one, you kind of believed in me. It's just the love that I have with you and the support, it makes us grow more. And it's very hard. This is a one woman show. It's so hard. This business is super hard because I can't catch up. I mean, I need help now. As you were saying, I need to hire a VA or something. Because when we spoke, you said, Susie, maybe it's time for you to hire somebody. I wish that my daughter would do this business because, daughter, mother would be great combo. But she's a designer. She's got different passions at the moment. My son is a good supporter. He's an architect. So eventually, since my husband is a builder, he's made four buildings, high rises.
Hmm.
And that was another thing is that throughout our household conversations, it's always been construction and building. And that was our always conversations. And our kids grew up in that atmosphere. So he's made four high rises. And so I've got that experience through him as well. So, eventually maybe we'll have a Melkoni's team. You know, my husband will be the developer. My son will be the architect. He's an architect. He's right now doing his master's in Harvard in landscape architecture urbanism.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah, he's graduating this May. And my daughter is a designer at from UC San Diego, so she's got a great job. So we can join in and they can build it. My daughter can design it and I can sell it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you already have a team. It's just, not set up yet. There's no agreements yet, but I love it. And thank you for sharing because it just shows you, right, that, um, environment makes a big difference, right? Happy to be your own first circle, but because of naturally how you guys, you and your husband kind of evolved and what you evolved your life around, the kids kind of follow that path. I mean,
Yeah.
different aspects of it, but still. So there's this whole community, right, of passion around it, and then
Yeah.
you have our ring, our layer of support in that
Yes.
community. So it's really important to have the right people with you and around you.
And there's so much opportunity in this country, you guys. There's so much opportunity. It's just all you and your hard work. I mean, there's all different ways of doing this, things, so much opportunity. And I want my children to continue pursuing forward. And now my son is taking it. I'm super happy because in Harvard, he was telling me he's taking a development course, a construction or development, a real estate development class with all these
Mhm.
professors who are doing that. They're developers, or they're investors. So he was just telling me, Mom, I like that. I said, okay, that's what I do. That's what
Yeah,
we are, we get trained on is all this, but it's on a different level. I guess it's more of an advanced level that they're doing.
sure. Yeah, I love that. Well, Susie, I mean, we just got a small um, you know bite flavor of taste of who Susie is. There's more, but definitely I encourage all of you out there to reach out, to connect with Susie. If you ever need to get an advice, get encouragement, if you need to team up with anybody out in this area, market share areas where Susie is working at, and of course, we always encouraging to team up if someone is stronger than you in some elements. And Susie, with that, Susie and the Melkonian team. Um,
Melconi's group.
yeah, Melkonian's group. I can't thank you enough, Susie, for everything, who you are, what you do, and for sharing with us your experiences.
Manny, I am so grateful for you for believing in me
Always.
and inspiring me to always, support me to be in your events and VIP events. And that's what makes us feel important and to grow and to love this business so much. And it's an amazing business, you guys. I think it's all in your hands. It's all in your hands. It's what you do is what you are produced. You get the fruits of your hard work.
Exactly. Susie, thank you. Everybody, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Love you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you
Susie,
so
good job.
much, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Susie.
Thank you,
Thank
Rita.
you.
This was
Amazing. We love you.
Thank you. I love you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dougie.
Thank you, Susie. That was amazing.
You think so?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, thank you. So is this recorded?
Yes, we'll
Oh,
we'll
good.
post the recording.
Oh, good. How? When?
It's going to be via email.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So
Doug, you
you'll
can stop the recording, by the way, just FYI.
Okay.